welcome back to Knits in the Wild. This is my knitting podcast. My name is Jen, and I am coming to you from the capital region of upstate New York. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. I'm really happy you're here with me. So it's been a while since I've recorded. I had some time this morning. I have this week off from work because I was supposed to be away on a vacation that we had to cancel for various reasons. So I'm home and I get to spend the week knitting and relaxing. The weather has now gotten pretty chilly, so it's perfect sweater weather. So thank you for joining. So let's start off with what I'm wearing. I think I've shown this in a previous episode. This is my Wildhorse Cardigan by Jessica McDonald. I knit this last year and I love it. It is super cozy, comfy. I knit this out of Knit Picks Simply Wool Twist, I believe it's called. I'll share all the information about the yarn in the description, but this is a really great basic worsted weight wool that is all natural. It's not dyed. It's a mix of two different colors, like a light cream color and a gray marled yarn that just makes this really nice soft fabric. It's held up pretty well. It's almost a year old at this point. There's some pilling, but honestly it's not that bad. Like, the biggest spot is under the arms, which that's pretty typical for a sweater, but I think this is the best knitted garment in regards to pilling that I have, because a lot of mine have, unfortunately, they pill a lot, but that's probably just due to my yarn choice. But anyway, this one has held up really well. It's extremely warm. I'm getting really warm right now. I had to open my sliding glass door to get in some cool air. But so this is my Wildhorse Cardigan. It's got this beautiful shawl collar that I actually had to knit twice, because the first time around you have to pick up all the stitches around the neckline and the front of the cardigan, and I didn't pick up enough stitches on one side, so the first time one side was like way shorter than the other, so I ripped it all out and redid it, and now I'll show you. It's it's very basic raglan style cardigan, very cozy. I love it. So that's what I'm wearing. So unfortunately, I don't have that many finished objects because I have been working on a lot of the same projects that I mentioned last time. But I did finish one hat that I don't have with me because it was for my sister. It was a pull the wool over pattern, is the name of the pattern, by Espace, Tricot, I think is how you pronounce it. It is a basic beanie hat. I'll pop a picture up of the hat that I made. Anyway, I made it with 29 Fibers, which is a local dyer that's up near Saratoga. And this was her colorway called Prismatic. I showed it on a podcast a while ago, but beautiful, beautiful yarn. I'll show you the photo. And I held that with a color that my sister picked out at a yarn shop we went to in Chatham when we went to Chatham's Oktoberfest, which is a town like 30 minutes away. It's a really cute, small town that has a yarn shop called The Warm Ewe, I believe it's called. Anyway, we popped in there and she picked out this fuzzy, light seafoam colored mohair that had this like Selena in it, so it had this sparkly it just had a little bit of sparkle to it. So she really wanted me to make a hat out of that. So I got home and I looked in my stash and I saw that this color Prismatic really looked great with it. But let me go look for that because I want to show you what they look like together, even though I don't have the finished hat. But so these are the two colors I used for the hat. This is the mohair. It is Lana grossa silk mohair with this gold, I think it's Stellina. I might be making that up, but it's so pretty. And then this is the merino. It is by 29 Fibers in a one-of-a-kind colorway she posted on her Instagram, I believe, back in June. And I snatched it up because I loved the color, but I thought when I saw it that it would look great together. So yeah, that's a hat for my sister. And I have enough left to make a hat for myself, which I might do. It's very pretty. That's all I have for finished objects in the last month, which is kind of sad, but I have been working on a lot of different things. First, I will show my current whip that I have been like furiously knitting on because I want it done and I want the finished garment. It is the Winter's Beach Cardi, which I showed last time, which I don't think I had that much done last time, but the last week or so I've been crazily knitting on it. Yeah, it's pretty big at this point, so bear with me. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Now can you see it? So I'm on sleeve. I'm on one of the sleeves. And last night I finished the last front panel and I was able to do the 3-needle bind off for the top of the shoulders to kind of seam them together. So this pattern is knit from the bottom up, and then it's split for the sleeves, and then you knit the front panel, one of the front panels, the back panel, and then you finish by knitting the last front panel. So they're all connected, they're just put on hold. Each panel is put on hold as you're knitting. And then you put them back on the needles and do a 3-needle bind off, which is so cool. So you have this cardigan, that's kind of I think this is a drop shoulder cardigan. But last night I picked up for the first sleeve, and now I'm just decreasing. But look at that cable pattern. Like, isn't that awesome? Like, I love it. I'm glad I'm done knitting it. I have been knitting this since June, and I'm finally on the sleeves. I cannot wait to have it. Let me try it on, because I love how it fits. Okay. So here it is. Without the sleeves, obviously. But the sleeves are a little big, which I don't mind because I don't like tight sleeves. The cardigan I just had on, the sleeves are too tight on that, and I can tell, but I just go with it. But these sleeves are a little big, which I don't mind. I'm decreasing pretty quickly, like every 5 rows or so. But yeah, it fits really great. I sized up, I believe. I have a 48-inch bust, so I decided to make the size 5, I believe. Let me just check that real quick. Yeah, I'm making the size 5. So the 5 is a 54.5 inch bust. So that is pretty oversized for me. And it's meant to be worn with 6 to 10 inches of positive ease. And with that, I have 6 inches, about 6.5 inches of positive ease, which is good. Which is probably why the sleeves are a little big, but I have kind of like bigger upper arms, so I did not want it to be tight. I wanted it to be loose, and I think I did pretty well with that. And it doesn't close. It's meant to be worn open with no buttons. And yeah, so I love it. I'm a little worried about there being too much fabric in the arm and the sleeve, but I think it will work out. Okay. I gotta take that off. Getting them warm. Okay, so the yarn I'm using is, of course, one of my favorite yarn companies. The Fiber Company, which is an Irish yarn company. And this is called Arranmore Light. And this is a blend of 80% wool, 10% silk, and 10% cashmere. And it's this lofty, woolen spun, tweedy yarn in the color Liadan. Yeah. Arranmore Light. And this is my last skein, which I should have enough for the other sleeve and the pockets, but I might use a contrasting color for the pockets and make them a little fun. Not sure yet. We'll see how much yarn I have left over after the sleeves. Okay. Next work in progress is my satellite shawl, which I've also been working on a decent amount. I love it. I love knitting it. It's so relaxing. I love knitting the brioche sections. I immediately want to cast on another brioche project, like maybe a hat, but I just have been holding off because I gotta finish these projects first before I start anything new. But here is my satellite shawl. I've got a couple more repeats left, and I've shared everything about this before on previous episodes. I'll include all the yarn information in the description, but yeah, this has got a couple more repeats of the pattern left, and this will be done. But yeah, it's amazing. So soft, so fluffy. The suri is just amazing. It's gonna look so nice. I can't wait. My next whip is my Stephen West mystery shawl, the GeoGradient, which I shared the beginning of with you. It's not a secret anymore. The pattern's been out. Like, I believe he posted the final shawl like last week or this week. I can't remember. But so I had been all caught up with the clues. I was on clue. I finished clue 2 in time for clue 3. So I finished the first part of clue 3. I was halfway through when he released clue 4. So I was knitting on it nonstop. This is what I've got so far. Here's my first part of clue 3, which is this cool slip stitch pattern, which is kind of a pain in the neck to knit. At least I thought it was kind of a pain in the neck. I didn't think it was that fun. I don't know. I really liked knitting the eyelets better, but these are the eyelets from clue 2, which I held with some matching suri that I had in my stash that matched perfectly. So with this color here, the light color, I held that with the suri, and then I held this color with a suri with some suri that I had from my satellite shawl, actually, because I had bought 2 balls of suri, which I think will be more than enough that I need for that shawl, so I decided to go for it. So then I got a couple of rows done on the second part of clue 3. Then clue 4 was released, so I wasn't caught up, and I looked at the spoiler, and it looked really challenging. It's a stitch, it's called a dip 5, which I have done a similar stitch in the last mystery shawl I did, which was a shawl by Paper Daisy Creations that had a variety of that stitch, and I didn't mind it, but I wasn't looking forward to it. I like how it looks. I think it looks great with the overall aesthetic of the shawl, but I wasn't really excited about knitting it, so I dropped the shawl and then started knitting on my cardigan because I wasn't thrilled about finishing this at this moment in time. I'm going to finish it because I have this much done already. Overall, I love it. I love the colors. I love the yarn. I'm using Sonder Yarn Co. Sunday DK, which I shared, or Sunday Morning Fingering, I believe it's called. So I shared all that information before. So I am on the fence of whether or not I'm going to finish the intended clue 4 with all those dips and maybe do something else. Like, I really want to do brioche. I don't know how that will look in this shawl, but I mean, it's my shawl. I can do what I want. So we'll see. In the meantime, putting this on hold until I finish my cardigan. I'll probably finish my other shawl before I finish this. So this is going back in my bag. This is a bag that I made to hold my project. So because I have been wanting a pressed flowers cowl for the last God knows how long, I decided to cast on the pressed flowers cowl the other day. I didn't get very far. This is all I got. Casey from Young Folk Knits is doing a knit along called the I Can Buy Myself Flowers cowl, which I decided now's the time to make the cowl if I'm going to do it, because why not? Why not participate in a fun knit along? So I started the first 2, maybe 4 rows of the slip stitch pattern. So for this, I'm using, I have it right here, these 2 yarns. This is a Peace Love yarn, is the name of the dyer. They're a local dyer. In the colorway Speckled 3, but I thought it was so pretty. Look at the blues and the like purples. And this is called the Starling base. It's 100% wool. It's a sport weight yarn, 320 yards for 100 grams. I bought this at Rhinebeck last year and finally getting to use it. I had wanted to use it for a pressed flower or something, so finally using it. And this is the main color. My contrast color is this Fiber Company Ciro, which is a Suri alpaca, cotton, and merino, which I use in my tessellated. So I had a whole skein left over from my tessellated vest, so I'm using this as the contrast color. So the little flowers are going to be soft and fuzzy pink. So yeah, that's what I have so far for that. So, speaking of Rhinebeck, I did go. I think it was 2 weeks ago now. I went on Saturday. The weather was dreary. I had to take an exam in the morning for my job, which is really annoying, but I had to do that at like 9:30, which was right down the street from where I live, so it wasn't too bad. So after that, I drove straight to my sister, who wanted to go. She is not a knitter. She is just learning to knit. I actually just taught her to knit like last weekend. So it was funny because she showed interest in going. I was like, oh, you should come with me. It's going to be like this crazy experience. You'll get to see all these crazy knitters and they're all hand knits. You know, it's going to be awesome. So I ended up wearing my tessellated vest, and I brought my Alpine Bloom tee that I had originally planned on wearing at Rhinebeck. So I brought it and she wore it. So she got to wear my Alpine Bloom and she got lots of compliments on it. And she was so funny. She's like, I didn't make it. She was just my model. But yeah, we got there around, I want to say like 2:30, maybe 1:30. I can't remember. Anyway, we parked pretty far away. The parking lot was muddy. We had both worn boots. We knew it was going to be rainy, but there was no line to get in because it was so late. The crowd must have died down a little bit because it didn't seem too crazy. It was still crowded, don't get me wrong, but the drive to Rhinebeck was only about like an hour and 8 minutes from us. So it was a nice drive, pretty. And we went in the booths. We looked around. Surprisingly, I didn't buy anything except for we both, at the end of the day, we were hungry. Well, first we brought lunches. So we went to the beer garden or the beer tent and sat down and ate our lunches, and we each got a beer. We got an Oktoberfest, and people watched for a little bit, and then this was after lunchtime. There was no line at the beer tent. There was really, we found a table to sit at. We walked around a little bit after that, looked in all the barns, looked at the sheep, got to pet some sheep, and I will throw up a little clip. I only took one little clip of when we went to the hill. So I went to the hill because I wanted to do the tessellated, Andrea Mowry's tessellated meetup for the photo. So we went to the hill, and I got to be in the photo, even though I'm like cut out, but whatever, it's fine. And we ran into this lady who had on another Alpine Bloom. So I was like, hey, that's the only other Alpine Bloom I've seen today. And she was so nice. And she's like, oh, Caitlin Hunter is right over there on the hill if you want to go say hi. We just said hi to her. She is so sweet. So I was like, oh my God, we have to go. And my sister was like, yeah, let's go. So we went over and we met Caitlin Hunter, and she's super sweet. She gave us little stickers, told her how much I'm obsessed with her patterns, and it was really nice to get to meet her. So last year was I got to meet Andrea Mowry. This year was Caitlin Hunter. So my two favorite designers, check, got to meet them at Rhinebeck. So I was pretty thrilled about that. Yeah, so I was glad I had my sister wearing my Alpine Bloom because I could be like, this is my Alpine Bloom. I was wearing Andrea Mowry patterns. I also had my hand spun and hand knit DRK Everyday Cowl on, so it was kind of funny. And my sister had been wearing the Homer cowl that I tested for Caitlin Hunter earlier in the year. So she was wearing Caitlin Hunter patterns and I was wearing my Andrea Mowry patterns. Pretty funny. So yeah, Rhinebeck was pretty fun. So we didn't stay that long. We left around 4. As we were leaving, we saw this, one of the food trucks that had pumpkin pie a la mode, and we each got a piece. We got the pumpkin pie crisp a la mode, and it was the best pumpkin pie I think I've ever had, and it was amazing, and there was no line, and we ate that right before we drove home, and yeah, it was fun. So the only 2 things we got were food and beer, so kind of funny. I didn't buy any yarn, but I kind of made up for it when I got back because, so I didn't go that Friday, as you guys know, there's a bunch of other Rhinebecky things happening that weekend. I had the day off because I have Fridays off now because I work 4/10s, so I have 4 longer shifts, and then I get Fridays off, which is nice. So that was my first Friday off, so I was like, ooh, what can I do? There's a lot going on down in Rhinebeck area that is yarny stuff. So I looked at the tickets for Woolen Folk, and I saw the price, and I was like, no, I'm not going to pay $50, $60 to go buy expensive yarns. No, I'm not doing that. So glad I didn't do that, because then I heard about what happened, and that's very unfortunate. I feel very bad for everybody that went to that, and that had a poor experience, but I can't really say much because I didn't go, but glad I didn't. Anyway, that was my Rhinebeck weekend experience. It's kind of nice to be local, but I do feel like, I don't know, I would love to have a group of knitter friends that I would go to with, but I don't really have many, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So when I got back, I saw the list of vendors that were at Wool and Folk and decided to buy something from one of them that, you know, helps support the vendors. And I found the perfect bag. So this is the bag that I purchased from this small company called Beautiful Sister, which I believe are these two sisters that make project bags. And this one is called the Moss Bag, and it's made with Spin Cycle's ice dyed fabric, canvas fabric. It's lined with canvas. It's beautifully crafted. It's got these nice leather handles and a leather snap closure. And I've got my project in there. I did have my cardigan in here for a while, but now it doesn't fit, so yeah, I'm very happy with this bag. Glad I bought this. Glad I held out and didn't buy any at Rhinebeck because I'm extremely picky when it comes to bags and project bags, and I didn't see anything there that I liked. I really do like the bags by Matterroot, which I got one last year, but when I went to their booth there was like no bags left, so I didn't get to see any of their bags, but I got that. And then I ordered some yarn by a dyer that I have never bought yarn from before, but I've heard a lot about, called Moondrake. And I ordered this from their website. And this, I believe, is a base that they debuted Rhinebeck weekend. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought I heard that. And it is called their Cormo Sport, which is 100% non-superwash Cormo 2-ply in the color silver. So this, I think I'm going to make a shawl with, because I got 2 skeins of it. And I've only ever spun with Cormo. So my DRK Everyday Cowl I made with hand-spun Cormo that I got from Wing and a Prayer Farm earlier this year. And it's so soft. And I loved it. So I wanted to try knitting with it from like actual like commercial yarn. But yeah, I'm excited about that. So I also got 2 skeins of Highland woolen spun from Harrisville Designs, pink and white, that I'm going to use to make a colorwork, either colorwork mittens or colorwork cowl or something. But I thought these would be great colors to add to my stash. I couldn't resist. And I also got a bright pink Surrey. This is Lang Surrey Alpaca, which is one of my favorite affordable Surreys because, you know, buying the hand-dyed Surrey is so expensive and I don't want to spend all that money on it. So this is a great option. And this is the brand that I'm using in my satellite shawl as well. And you can't even tell the difference. It is awesome. So that is about all I have for you guys today. I'm hoping to finish my Winter's Beach Cardi in the next week or two. Yeah. And until then, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. I hope you're getting to work on some projects now that it is cooler, at least here in the northeast of the U.S. Hope you're enjoying something cozy. Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining me. If you liked the podcast, feel free to like and subscribe. I'm not really big into all that, but I figured I'd mention it. And if you don't, you don't. Whatever. I just do this because I like sharing what I do. I like sharing what I make. Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and thank you. Bye.